What is happening? This is Timster. Today we're learning how to do the 2000 where we're spinning on both hands versus the 90, which is just primarily one hand. If you're new to my channel, ensure to subscribe because we basically upload content every day on tips, hints, fitness, dance, and much more. So you definitely want to stay intact with that. And for those that are returning, what's up, Flight Tribe? Let's go ahead and get into this. Now, a 2000 is an inception of having a primary movement of the 90, which you're spinning on one hand. If y'all do want a tutorial on that, leave a comment below and I'll be sure to get to that. And from all the tutorials across the board in which I have, if you have been watching, you notice that there's one primary thing on top of everything, a default foundational component, which is this step that I'm showing you right here, the New York flare setup, the hyper flare setup, and which gives you your momentum. This helps you out with 90s, 2000s. This helps you out with much more. So 2000s, we can choose to either have two hands on top of each other or have a hand lightly on a wrist, depending on how you want it. Either way, we got to create that visual appeal of where we're having two hands and we're spinning on top of one and the other. And another tip you definitely want to have, this is assuming, like what I said, if you have the 90, if you don't even have a 90 and you're doing this from scratch, that's completely fine too. Figure out which hand is your primary hand that's going to keep you up on balance. Some people prefer the right hand, some people prefer the left hand. There isn't a different formality of a 2000 also, but this is not that formality, which is the Deadman 90 2000, where you invert your 2000. You start off going inwards versus going out on your outer shoulders. So the balance component of the 2000 is essentially a handstand right here. You place two hands down. Your shoulders need to be warmed up. Your elbows need to be warmed up. Your legs need to be ensured that they can wind up and also drill. You can bend your legs to drill them up. Right here, I'm using that torso to switch me back and forth. So you see that hyper flare extension, and right here spinning on that hand, I choose my right hand primarily. This is a fun drill to do so you can ensure that you know where your head usually goes by default. You don't want to tighten your neck too much, but you also don't want to keep it loose. You also don't want to stare too much, and because that will really throw you off your balance. You kind of just want to allow that to flow. See how you kind of stumble upon if you're looking too high. Instead, kind of just keep it neutralized and keep it inward. And right here, so we're going to spin on. What I like to do also when I'm teaching my workshops in regards to learning the 2000, I like to say that it's similar to a pivotal foot, like the NBA, where you're keeping one hand down and you're just kind of switching over that other foot and you're spinning around it, and that stays intact, in place, in depth, and then drove into the ground, versus the other hand that kind of enhances your balance. Right here, I'm showing you where I'm just simply letting that hand go. So I put one hand down, switch to the other alternatively, and then I place it, and then I wind up, bend my legs, and shoot up. That creates the 2000 appeal. So right here, you see my body go down, my torso gets ready, hyper flare extension. When we go down, isolated hands, one into the pivot foot, drill your shoulder inward so you can drill the 2000 and not just glide it, so you can hold it for a lot longer. The faster you're able to hit that 2000, the more you can balance on it. It really eliminates the whole stressful part, all the neck part, everything. It gives it a faster flow, and it gives it a less upper body strain and a less balanced game. Because if you can drill it the right way, you can hold it a lot longer. And a lot of the times, I love to do that when I'm showcasing or I'm battling. I drill it really fast, and I tend to hold it a lot longer because I don't have to depend on my strength. Instead, I'm utilizing all my balance techniques, and that's what really keeps it up on that. So for the last tips I do want to share with you, just to wrap up everything, is have the hyper flare stand up, the extension, however you want to call it. You isolate each hand, practice handstands and one hand balances, strengthen those arms. Put one hand on top of the other. You can put it on top of each hand, or you can put a hand on the wrist. Either way, as long as you're creating the illusion of the 2000, and you use your legs, wind up, and then scorch it all up into a drill. And then think of it as the NBA component, where it's the pivotal foots and you're spinning around. One primary hand spins, the other one just kind of lays on top of it. And last but not least, just protect yourself, stay neutralized, stay in depth, stay balanced, and then drill that shoulder in and delve in. If you have any more questions, please leave them in the comments below. I'll be happy to help. Appreciate y'all. Peace.